Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm Tony Bone, and welcome to the Bone Zone. This afternoon we're going to talk about AJ Styles and the real reason his last WWE title run ended. And on top of that, I'm going to tell you the WWE legend who might be getting on in years but has no desire to retire.
Nice. Plus, shoot season is still open. 2 former WWE superstars have shot all over Raw Underground. And the gimmick that EC3 was going to be given that you will not believe. Good AfterNews.
News coaster. Is that still a thing?
It's
I'm not
weird.
sure.
I don't like this. I don't know what my day is now.
We've been transplanted from the morning into the afternoon. It's crazy. You know what else is crazy? AJ Styles. He's a flat earther, baby. But
Why aren't your shoes curved? That's why I want.
There's some good evidence, is what I'm saying. He's been on his Twitch channel, talking a lot of different things, as he often does since Mixer closed down. And one of the things he was talking about was losing the WWE Championship on that episode of SmackDown to Daniel Bryan in November 2018. And he said the reason that went down was because Vince McMahon was worried about booking a rematch for Survivor Series between him and Brock Lesnar. Survivor Series, brand warfare of course, but AJ and Lesnar faced each other at Survivor Series 2017. And Vince apparently decided a few days before the pay-per-view that he didn't want to do that for the second year in a row. So he switched the belt over to Bryan, and we got Bryan versus Brock instead in what was a fabulous match. WWE, basically just going, hey man, you don't want to give you the same match twice in a row, I guess. So they reconfigured things, and I think it's safe to say it worked out probably for the best.
You wouldn't have heard any complaints from me if I got to watch AJ Styles Brock Lesnar again, but the fact we got heel Daniel Bryan and that amazing Daniel Bryan Brock Lesnar match at Survivor Series was quite the recovery from them. But it does sort of add more fuel to the fire that they book pay-per-view to pay-per-view and sort of forget what the calendar looks like. Vince going, what's on Sunday? Survivor Series! Oh, bollocks! What were they thinking, Andy?
Oh, they're nuts. And hey, we got the Planet's Champion out of this, and the Planet's Champion was awesome. And let's not forget as well that because Daniel Bryan had the title, the Kofi Mania storyline was so damn good as well. Not to say that AJ couldn't have done a good job as the heel in that role either, but what we got was awesome, so who cares?
It does make sense as well when you think about how sudden that title change was, that, it was just a Vince waking up that day and making that decision kind of thing. Right, let's talk a little bit more about Raw Underground. Great to see Shayna Baszler involved in it, I thought, last night. But 2 former WWE superstars have been shooting all about it, particularly Alundra Blaze, Medusa, and Lance Storm. Now, this, granted, was ahead of last night's episode of Monday Night Raw and Raw Underground. They were talking about the first week where, of course, Shane McMahon was presenting in front of sexy ladies doing a sexy dance. WWE tweeted out on, I was going to say August 8th, my birthday. Ladies might love Ivar, but Eric loves Raw Underground. And the little clip of what happened with him last week. Alundra Blaze responding by saying, so we are bringing back half-naked women in the same breath of promoting the evolution and equality of women. Yes, this is entertainment. Yes, this is a skit. Yes, this is acting. Yes, these are wrestlers. Why resort to women sexually dancing opening a show? Why not men in Speedos? And Lance Storm agreed with her. Love Lance Storm. He said, I agree with your point completely. I will pop huge tonight if they do a women's underground and have 3 Chippendale type dancers. If you're going to do eye candy, at least do it for everyone. I mean, they've got a point, Andy.
Yeah, bring on the hunks. Fortunately, last night's Raw Underground was dancer free. Or maybe they were there and I wasn't paying enough attention, but they weren't there. I'm just being a bell end. I think it's a change for the better. You don't need it. It was unnecessary. It's going to cause certain friction among certain types of fans and people with, who don't want to see us go back to the late 90s, basically.
What about the Attitude Era?
It's definitely better off without it. Good move.
Yeah.
Hard to disagree with anything they've said here. Lance Storm, I always imagine it in as just dry promo delivery, so every tweet is fun. But yeah, totally agree. But get the hunks in. Why not? 1 week. It'll be fun.
We're not busy, we'll do it.
Yeah, exactly. You should see me with my shirt off. I look like the Pillsbury Doughboy, crossed with a kiwi fruit. Let's talk a little bit about the WWE legend who says that he has no eye on retirement despite doing this for a goddamn long time. Big Show! is that man. He's given a new interview with TV Guide. He's been speaking to the Radio Times, apparently. Speaking to TV Guide here, talking a lot about what's going on, and he's had a bunch of heart-to-heart chats with the boss in WWE, with Vince McMahon, about what he can offer on television in 2020, and of course there's the ongoing global thing and all that other stuff. But while he realises he's no spring chicken and he doesn't have hundreds of matches ahead of him, he's happy to keep on going in his current role. He'll come in when he's needed, part-timer, do a bit of business for a couple of weeks, have matches like the one he had with Randy Orton. He had that bizarre title shot against Drew McIntyre 20 minutes after WrestleMania and all that, but he still feels he's capable of fitting in and being an asset from time to time. And I think Big Show's been used quite well in 2020. Hasn't hogged the spotlight. He's had a few short programs with big names, helped put people over. And that Randy Orton match was actually pretty good, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's been used well in 2020. I think he's still got a role to play. He presumably was chatting to TV Guide to promote the Big Show on Netflix, and I don't know, they're doing some sort of weird big crossover event. I was half asleep, I'll be honest, watching Raw this morning, and there was a shot of him and... God, my brain wanted to say Enrique Iglesias there. Gabriel Iglesias, the comedian, promoting some, I don't know. That's presumably why he's doing it. Like, I've got no issue with that, as long as he keeps the beard. I don't like it when he's clean shaven. He looks like a toe. So
a really weird toe with a good punch.
But I think you're right. Like, use him in this role. Brief stint, putting people over, and he definitely has a role to play. And look, when he's worked that hard to get into shape, it'd be a real shame not to use him, considering his legacy within the industry. Right, let's move on to our final story of the day. I couldn't get over this when I read it. All about EC3 popped up on Chris Jericho's latest Talk Is Jericho podcast to talk about why his WWE run didn't work out. I mean, he did it in NXT. It didn't once Vince McMahon got his grubby little fingers on him and decided to make him a mute, seemingly. Well, apparently EC3 had a chat with Vince McMahon, who wanted to sort of tweak his character, especially when it came to promos. McMahon said to EC3 that he was worried his promos were, quote, a little over the top, to which he said, well, how many of you have seen? And Vince said, one. Of course. So he wanted to change EC3's delivery to, get this, he wanted him to speak like a weatherman. Just let that sink in for a second. He wanted him to be a monotone, one-dimensional character in terms of speaking, and be passive rather than OTT, entertaining and in your face. I mean, we said a lot of things about EC3 when they botched his main roster arrival. A lot of us were saying, why isn't he talking? That was one of his best assets in NXT. And of course, when he was just sensational in Impact Wrestling. And yet Vince McMahon thought, you know what's going to get him over? If he talks like a bloody weatherman.
Yeah, turn him into Michael Fish. That sounds like money. I'll never for the life of me be able to figure out what happened to EC3 on the main roster. Hey, we got this really great talker. What do? Have him not talk. What? What part of that makes sense? It's insane. You know, EC3, to be fair, never the most dynamic in-ring performer, but a great character, great look, great personality, great talker, so good at so many different things. And nothing happened with him. It's kind of a shame how it worked out for him in the world's biggest promotion. He's one of these guys I would have thought would have been easy money in WWE. But hey, you know, Vince said no. You're too over the top, pal, so I'm going to make you a weatherman. That's less over the top than just being an arrogant heel.
Ridiculous. He looks like and sounds like someone that Vince McMahon would love. Like, I would have put money on him doing big things on Monday Night Raw. They did all that bollocks with the sort of stop-start booking with him against Dean Ambrose that was so obvious what they were trying to do to bury Ambrose's character that then they had to course correct with all that. It was a real shame, I thought, for EC3, but he's back doing good stuff in Impact Wrestling now. The only way it would have been good is if he'd have been transitioned into a backstage role and had to interview someone and said, so what are your plans for the match tonight? And they could respond, wouldn't you like to know, weather boy? There we go. I just wanted to sneak that one in. Let us know your thoughts on all of today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts, of course. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions for tomorrow morning's news. It never stops. At WhatCulture WWE. Watch, they can follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray at...
you can follow me at Andy H. Murray. The H stands for you're not getting another one today, which begins with a H, because you already had one, you greedy people.
Follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, as I said. This has been the After News. It's been a change, and I liked it.
Yeah.
My thanks, Andy Murray. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.